The United States has stepped up pressure on Russia by sending a group of B-1B bombers close to Russian territory, a move that's likely to make President Vladimir Putin uneasy about what could follow. These aircraft, officially called the Rockwell B-1B Lancer, are among the most powerful bombers ever made. Alongside the B-2 Spirit and the B-52 Stratofortress, the B-1B forms a key part of the US Air Force's trio of long-range bombers and has seen action in conflicts like Iraq and Syria. The idea for this bomber first came about in the 1960s. The goal was to create a plane that had the high speed of the B-58 Hustler, but could also carry the massive weapon loads of the B-52. However, the project was too expensive and ambitious at the time, leading to its cancellation in the late 70s. A few years later, in 1981, the program was restarted with a more practical design. By 1983, production was underway, and the B-1B officially joined the Strategic Air Command in 1986. A total of 100 B-1Bs were built. About half are still active in the US Air Force today, while the rest are stored in a massive aircraft graveyard in Tucson, Arizona, known as the Boneyard. So what makes this bomber stand out? First off, it's fast, really fast. The B-1B is currently the only US bomber that can fly faster than the speed of sound, reaching speeds of Mach 1.2 over 900 miles per hour at high altitudes. Even when flying lower, it can hit Mach 0.92, just over 700 miles per hour. That's far quicker than the B-2 Spirit, which tops out at about 628 miles per hour. Thanks to its speed, the B-1B can break into enemy airspace, drop its payload, and get out before defences can react. It's also very agile for a plane of its size. Its wings can change position mid-flight, allowing it to adapt to different flying conditions. Wings extended forward help during takeoffs and landings, while wings swept back allow for high-speed flight. This flexibility makes it effective in both high and low altitude missions. Another major strength of the B-1B is how much it can carry. It holds the record for the largest payload of bombs and missiles among US bombers, up to 75,000 pounds. That includes up to 24 cruise missiles. For comparison, the B-52 can carry 70,000 pounds and the B-2 holds 40,000. The B-1B can carry nearly twice as much as the B-2 and can be armed with a wide range of weapons, such as 500 and 2,000-pound bombs, naval mines, cluster bombs, and precision-guided munitions like the GBU-31 and GBU-54. It's also the only US bomber currently able to carry long-range anti-ship missiles and can be upgraded in the future to handle hypersonic weapons like the AGM-183. This makes it one of the most flexible and capable bombers the Air Force has. Even though the B-1B has been around for decades, it's still one of the most high-tech strategic bombers in the world. It's equipped with modern radar systems, advanced navigation tools, and electronic defenses that help it survive in hostile environments. Its radar can track and target moving vehicles, and it features a sophisticated data link system to keep pilots aware of everything happening around them during missions. The B-1B bomber can quickly share information with other aircraft, military command centers, or the Combined Air Operations Center. This allows it to identify and strike new targets immediately, without wasting time. It uses a mix of GPS and internal navigation systems, which means it can find its way even without help from ground-based signals or radio communication. When it comes to defense, the B-1B is well protected. It's equipped with technology that jams enemy signals and a radar warning system that alerts the crew if they're being tracked. It also carries chaff and flares to throw off incoming missiles, along with a towed decoy system to mislead enemy radar. Combined with its high speed, ability to maneuver, and low visibility on radar, these features make the B-1B one of the toughest bombers to take down. It can fly into dangerous zones, carry out its mission, and escape without being hit. And this isn't just theory, the B-1B has seen plenty of real action. Since 2001, it's completed more than 12,000 combat missions in countries like Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, and Libya. Its proven track record makes it a serious threat to any enemy force. Recently, a group of these powerful bombers flew to Norway, placing them within striking range of Russia. While the Air Force hasn't officially said how many B-1Bs were sent, photos showed at least 3 being escorted by Spanish EFA-18M Hornet fighter jets on their way to Åland Air Station, Norway's main base for F-35 stealth jets. Those Hornets came from Iceland's Keflavik Air Base. This isn't the first time B-1Bs have been deployed to Norway. Their first mission there was in March 2021, when the US began training for Arctic operations. Before that, American bombers mostly operated from the UK, where the weather is less extreme. The B-1Bs returned to the region in 2023, a year after Russia invaded Ukraine. That year, they joined the Arctic Challenge 2023 military exercise, the largest Nordic training event, which focused on improving defence cooperation and readiness across the northern parts of Europe. These bombers have also operated in other countries like Japan, South Korea, Turkey, and Australia. They regularly travel long distances to take part in missions and drills with US allies. Before flying nearly 5,000 miles across the Atlantic to Norway, the B-1B crews were involved in the Flag 25-3 training exercise. That drill involved daily flights from Dyess Air Force Base in Texas to the Nevada Test and Training Range, where they practiced mock strikes in simulated hostile airspace. Now in Norway, they're expected to continue similar training. According to a US Air Force statement, B-1B Lancers from Dyess arrived at Åland Air Station on August 9th, 2025 to join Allied-led training under the latest Bomber Task Force Europe mission. This deployment helps US crews improve their skills, work closely with partner nations, and boost overall military readiness. While stationed there, the bombers will take part in complex training missions designed to simulate high-risk combat conditions. During these missions, crews will focus on detecting, tracking, and striking targets quickly and accurately. At the same time, they'll face simulated threats from the ground and air, forcing them to react fast and take control of the skies. Although the official press release didn't mention Russia by name, many experts believe this show of force is meant to send a clear message to Moscow about US and NATO strength in the region. Lieutenant Colonel Eric Alvarez, who leads the 345th Bomb Squadron during this mission, explained that the purpose of this deployment is to train as realistically as possible, side by side with NATO allies, staying flexible and ready for anything. He said it's all about building experience, building trust, and staying prepared in unpredictable situations. Meanwhile, the official US Air Forces in Europe and Africa Facebook page shared a message emphasizing that the mission isn't just about flying bombers. It's also about unity, showing that when the US and its allies work together, they're stronger. The Bomber Task Force highlights cooperation, reliability, and the ability to maintain peace by being prepared for conflict. It's almost certain that Russian President Vladimir Putin is paying close attention to these developments, and he knows exactly what the B-1B bombers are capable of. With their powerful weapons and long reach, these aircraft could deal serious damage to Russia's military systems, infrastructure, and even Putin's own legacy if tensions were ever to escalate into direct conflict. If the US ever chose to launch an attack, the B-1Bs could fly across the Russian border, hit key targets, and leave the region in disarray. Right now, that kind of action seems unlikely, unless Russia makes the bold move of attacking a NATO country. In that case, NATO's Article 5 would come into effect, requiring all members to defend one another. That could open the door to a massive military response, potentially including strikes deep inside Russian territory. Many NATO leaders and European officials have openly discussed this possibility. One of them is General Carsten Breuer, Germany's top military officer, who warned that Russia might try to attack a NATO country, possibly one of the Baltic states, by the year 2029. In an interview with the BBC, he stressed that this is not just speculation. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky echoed those concerns in a separate interview with Sky News. Zelensky warned that even if Russia suffers heavy losses in Ukraine, Putin could rebuild his military within a decade and launch a new offensive, this time targeting NATO directly. NATO's Secretary-General Mark Rutte has expressed similar warnings. Speaking at a Chatham House event in the UK, he said that the danger from Russia won't just disappear once the war in Ukraine ends. According to Rutte, the alliance must stay united and ready for any threat, whether from the east or the west. He emphasised that although many NATO members are increasing their defence budgets and upgrading their forces, the US still stands out as the most powerful and capable military force in the alliance, and the biggest reason no one dares challenge NATO. With unmatched land, air and naval strength, cutting-edge weapons, world-class technology and the largest defence budget, the US military remains the strongest in the world. The B-1B bomber is a clear symbol of that power: fast, adaptable, durable and deadly. It reflects everything the US military stands for. While some have questioned how committed the US really is to supporting its NATO partners, actions like this speak louder than words. Sending advanced bombers within 750 miles of the Russian border is a strong message. The US is ready, and it will not back down if NATO comes under threat. The move shows clear commitment to defending allies in Northern and Eastern Europe if it ever becomes necessary. The timing of this deployment is also important. The B-1Bs arrived just days before a scheduled meeting between US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, likely intended as a way to remind Moscow that Washington is serious about defense. Their arrival also comes about a month before Russia and Belarus begin their Zapad 2025 joint military exercises. The Zapad, meaning West, drills have been a recurring event since the 1970s, bringing together thousands of troops to practice combat scenarios, test new weapons, and show off military strength. These exercises aren't just about training, they're also political theatre, designed to demonstrate Russian power, intimidate neighbours, and signal readiness for a potential confrontation with NATO. The United States has made it clear through its actions that NATO won't back down under pressure or threats. With Russia's struggles in Ukraine now obvious to the world, many countries are no longer as intimidated by Moscow as they once were. Russia entered Ukraine with what looked like one of the strongest armies on paper. But despite facing a smaller and less equipped opponent, its progress has been slow and costly. The invasion has come at a high price. Russia has lost tens of thousands of troops and thousands of tanks, vehicles, radars, artillery units, aircraft, and other critical equipment. What it gained in return was minimal, just small patches of land and a handful of towns, while spending billions of dollars and suffering massive casualties. Economically, the country has also taken a hit. Sanctions from around the world and the heavy burden of military spending have damaged its economy, and its image as a top-tier military power has been severely weakened. Today, Russia and President Putin are arguably in one of their weakest positions in decades. Still, Russia can't be dismissed. Its leadership is known for being aggressive. Its ties with China are growing stronger, and despite its many military setbacks, it still holds the largest number of nuclear weapons in the world, around 5,500 warheads. This is exactly why the United States and NATO must keep up the pressure. It's important to continue strengthening their forces, upgrading defences, and showing they are ready to respond. The goal is clear: to send a strong message that any act of aggression would be met with serious consequences. By staying alert and united, NATO can act as a powerful deterrent to any future invasion plans. That's why the recent mission involving B-1B bombers flying across the Atlantic to Norway means more than it may seem. As the US Air Force said in a recent post, it's about building trust among allies, standing together, and showing strength through unity. These moves send a clear message. NATO's collective power is far greater than what Russia can muster alone. So it's likely we'll keep seeing more US military activity near Russia's borders in the near future. Each deployment, training mission, or show of force is a reminder to Moscow of what it would be up against if it dared to push past Ukraine and threaten countries like Poland, Finland, Estonia, or Latvia. Every time a US aircraft enters the region or a unit is deployed closer to Russian territory, you can be sure the Kremlin is watching closely. Putin knows that no matter how much money he invests in his military, Russia still falls short of matching the combined power of the US and NATO. If you're interested in learning more about what a potential conflict between NATO and Russia might look like, check out our detailed hour-by-hour breakdown. Or to see how NATO stacks up against not just Russia but the wider BRICS alliance. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with the latest developments in the Russia-Ukraine war and other major global security issues. Thanks for tuning in.